country of Alaska. So, I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. Running the trommel today. And today we are going to run the trommel. We're going to run the rest of this material I have here, and then we're going to clean out the box, but we're not going to totally do a full cleanup. We're just going to clean the material out of the box. I'm working over here, and in this cut, right over here you can see, and I'm baling material towards me. So, I'm baling material towards me, and it's a long way, so we need to move this trommel. I'm not going to move it live because it's too hands-on of an experience to move live, but we're going to finish up what I have for material here and show you guys the box. I'm really impressed with what the box is looking like, and I'm really excited. I think we've been doing over a half ounce a day, which is like ideal for me. So I just got a chat here, trying to keep up with the chat here. All right. Good afternoon. Looks like a nice day to dig. It is a beautiful day. We have been really struggling with cold, like drizzly weather. It has not been fun. But we're forecasted to have some 60-degree days here. It's going to bring up the creek, but it's also going to melt the ground better for me. I'm really dealing with a lot of frost in the ground. And dealing with a lot of frost in the ground, and we are really excited for this warmer weather because it's going to help me get more pay dirt out and stockpiled for running. And right now, I'm probably running 5 grams an hour through this trommel. So, no, maybe not 5, 3 or 4 grams an hour. Running 4 grams an hour through the trommel. And we're running the trommel about 4 hours a day, so at least that's what it looks like in the box. I haven't totally got a super good look at it, but we'll get a look at it at the end of this live stream. And I'm just going to clean up this material, and we will show you some gold at the end of the live stream. So stick with us through there. So got lots of people in the chat already. I was able to actually schedule it. Hi to Nick No Fish. He is a regular, been subscribed for a long time. And he says, hi Jake, peeps in the chat. And Nick No Fish says, hi Scott. Tony Smith says, yeah, y'all back. Yep, we are back. I went down to the peninsula, and the weather was just too cold down there to really get a good live stream. I ended up, the days that I wanted to fish the shore were a little bit windier than I like to fish it. It's really hard to get your baits out. And the one day that we had, my dad was down there, we went out in the boat, and I didn't quite have the internet access out there enough to get a live stream in. So it takes some video. We'll see if I can get a video edited, but it'll be a while before I probably get to editing video. It's go, go, go here. Live streams are the best way in the summer for me to keep up with y'all. Tips or cents says, how many yards? How many yards? Do you have stage to run? Oh, I have probably 20 yards stage to run here. And I've already been working it for about a half an hour. So maybe I had 25 yards. I run about 10 to 15 yards an hour when I'm going good like this. but I'm getting pretty built up on my tailings. It is definitely time to move this trommel. Too many tailings right here, and with just one piece of equipment, I can't move it around very easily, so I got to move the trommel to stay efficient. You can see my fine tailings over in the far end, and right here, this pile right here, is my oversized tailings, my big tailings, and it is a pile. I probably got 100 yards there, maybe a little more, probably more. Probably 200 yards of fine tailings and large tailings. But we started this cut, and I've had this trommel here for like 4 or 5 hitches, probably 4 big hitches. So we've really been running a lot of material through it. And my old cut is getting filled up with tailings, so it's time to move to a new one, and I have this one over here. I'll show you. Over here I have that one, and I can set up, I'm going to stack all my overburden onto my cut here, and then I'm going to start a new cut over on the other side of those tailings. It might be a little harder to do a live stream over there, though, because I'm getting farther and farther away from our Starlink. I'm going to read a comment here. 10% says, looks like your oversize is reasonably clean considering the muck and frost going into the feed. Yeah, I did get into a little bit of clay on the last top of my bedrock, and that wasn't good. But a little bit of clay made it through. I'd grab a few, if it's really clay coming out the back end, I'll double run it just to get it a lot cleaner. But it's kind of like you got to figure out where your returns are starting to diminish. So Tony Smith says, do y'all ever run a metal detector over your tailings to check for big nuggets? I run them. I don't ever run it over the tailings. I haven't. The biggest nugget I found so far was on our last live stream out here, and that was just shy of a gram. So there could be a big nugget, but that's, with the amount of time that it would take to actually run over that many yards of tailings and really being efficient at it, even if there is a big nugget in there, it's probably the chances, it's too much of a gamble. This area isn't known for absolutely monstrous nuggets, so I'm kind of hoping that my 3/4 inch holes in my trommel will drop the nuggets through. So that's kind of the plan. I have depth clear in my trommel for me when I slog up. Like I said on the last feed, I want to get a conveyor if we do well in the next couple of hitches. And if I can get a conveyor here, I can really spread out my area and be a lot more efficient. I will go through more gas, though. So gas is expensive back here, and it's hard to get it back here. Easiest in the spring when you can bring it in on a snow machine. I was bringing it in about 200 gallons at a time, 150 to 200 gallons at a time. So that's not terrible. Takes me on a snow machine, it'd take me about, when I was hauling like that, it'd take me like an hour and a half to get out. Tempter says, if there was much larger gold or golden quartz an inline detector or sluice outfeed buzzer can be worth the effort. I agree. There's hardly any, like, I haven't really found much for specimens. I guess I had a nugget that we found last season that had a little bit of pyrite on it. That was stained, but, you know, it was really small, so like half a gram or a little bit less. So that one was not very big, so it stuck in the box real easy. But nothing real big yet. And I do watch I'm so close to the flow out as my tailings flow out. I do watch it quite a bit. I watch it for fossils and cool rocks and stuff. It's kind of fun to pick rocks up. You can rock hound and gold mine at the same time. So, but if I was on the other stream that this flows into, it's got a lot of agates and thunder eggs on it. This has a couple, but it's pretty volcanic back here. So, and then there's some really good fossil deposits. I guess not really good, but they're there, and we do find a fair amount of fossils. And in one of the flow that I found last year, I found a little bit of amylite. It wasn't a full fossil or anything. It's really, like, it wouldn't have been worth a whole lot, but it could have been, like, if I put glue in it and stuff, it could be made into gas. A lot of really cool color to it. Tony Smith says, looks like you know what you're doing. You know, I've been prospecting for a lot of years, and I've got one season under my belt, and we made it, right? So I'm certainly still learning a lot, but we are producing, and right now I'm making money. So that's the good. As long as I'm up and running this trommel, we are making money. I've definitely noticed a little bit better catchment in my sluice box since I made those upgrades on my sluice box, and we're definitely getting a better recovery. And every little bit I can do on that, it gets better and better. But as you're mining out here, the biggest thing is trying to figure out what a diminishing return. So, like, if you're putting too much time into something, it doesn't pay out. So I found that it's better just to go with what you got down, and if you can streamline it a little way, then you're making more money. You're going to lose gold. It's just the fact of the nature of this. You know, I strip off a little bit of gold-bearing material that probably has a lot of fines in it. No, not a lot of fines, but some fines, but it just doesn't pay as well. And it's like, you got to run the material that works as pay. You know, in some of your overburden, you're going to be losing a little bit of gold by just discarding it. So I'm not too worried about I'm not worried about perfect recovery. I'm worried about the best recovery and the best bang for my buck, because really where it is the time you spend out here, you got to make profitable. So, and you know, I love it out here, but it is a job once I'm out here now. When I was prospecting, it was more like a vacation and you could just play more. But, you know, out here, your hobby becomes your job. And it's still enjoyable, don't get me wrong, but it's not as fun as if you were, you know, you got to grind through the hard times when you don't feel like it. $10% says getting more fines portion in the gold take after your box. I read the next one. After the box upgrade, yes, I am getting more fines. That blue mat tends to wash the black sand. It scrubs the gold out of the black sand a lot better. So that is that's how I know that box is doing better. I'm getting a higher percentage of fines. And it could be that this last cut I ran a little bit higher, but up in the gravel column, and I got more fines, but it seemed to pay out pretty good. So I'm happy with it, and I would definitely run that. Especially with the rise in gold price, it does make more ground payable. San Francisco Bay asks, would a large hose with water watering your bucket as it feeds the hopper be helpful? I don't think that would really, I can kind of wash my bucket off with the trommel the way that it is, with the way that it squirts into there. When I get into real bit, you can see I'm doing it right now. But with the way that as long as I'm not in clay, the material is really good. It's really easy material to run. So it's got a good mix of sand, clays, and gravels, and so that gravel and the small cobble that works through my trommel, it breaks up those clays really nice. So that's another reason a grizzly wouldn't be as helpful as you think, is because my gravel kind of breaks the clays up really well, so it washes better. Like having a good mix like that causes it to wash better, is what I found. Like when I take and rerun my tailings through, if they got a little extra clay on them, they don't run through as easy as the stuff that I have. %, ore is only the material that makes profit. Yeah, it is. Ore is really what contains. There's your graded ore is what makes the profit. You got your high grade and your low grade, and you don't really stockpile ore unless it makes a profit. But ore is really what the rock that hosts the mineral, and sometimes it might not be profitable because of the market, and in the future it may be profitable. So it's still an ore, but it's not a profitable ore. It's a very low grade ore. Dan says hello from Sweden. Nick No Fish. Hi, Dan. Bob Brandenburg. So when are you going to get a feeder hopper? Well, that depends on cash flow. I'm starting to get to the point right now where it's going to be pretty soon, and the trail's going to be open through the pass. We're flying in here in helicopter right now, and it's really extending our season a lot. I don't know how much of a benefit it's been to extend our season that much, because I got into the ice really heavily in May, but certainly this hitch has been profitable so far. I've been in for 3 days, and today's the 4th day, and I'm guessing I have over 1.5 ounces in the box, maybe 2 ounces in the box, maybe even more. It looked really, really good. I was looking at those when I got out last night after running for 4 hours. I looked in, and I had about 6 riffles that were more yellow, that were almost as yellow as they were brown. So they had like 50 or 60 nice colors in each of them. And when I say colors, a lot of you guys would consider some of those pickers. A third of those are probably what most of you guys gold mining and prospecting would consider like a picker, because you can pick them out of the can. They're not just flour gold. Which for you guys on the last stream that joined me last stream, we ended up weighing that gold, and I only had about 1.75 ounces on it, so it wasn't over 2. I was bummed about that. But you know, you get looking at it and it's flat and it's a little finer. It definitely spreads out a little bit more along the box. All right, Alaska Assassin Adventure says, "Hey neighbor, how's it going? It's going great. It finally got some good weather out here. It's been a long time coming." Beth is getting a rock out of the, put a little too big a cobble in there. I try and catch them before they go in the box. If I had a grizzly, I'd probably like ideally have a 3-inch grizzly. The hopper I want to get, the hopper conveyor I want to get has a built-in 2-inch grizzly, which is a little bit smaller. But I also want to see. I have a neighbor who's running them, and I want to see how he does on them and if they hold up real good. Because if he breaks down on his in the first month, I probably will just keep doing what I'm doing. But I think that would really help me get a bunch more ounces of gold. So, and I'd like to get 50 this summer. And right now, I don't think maybe after this clean out, maybe I'll be caught up to last year. But I'm definitely behind schedule. So. Anyways, the material's going good here. I always underestimate how long it's going to take me to run this material here. It is, that cleanup on the pad always takes the longest in this. So I end up having more yards here than I always estimate. You know, I found that nugget in that stuff, so it could produce more nuggets in here, even if what I was just digging didn't. So, in fact, I found three of my 5 best nuggets in this spot where I've got my trauma. So I'm hoping maybe as I go down the valley that I'll find more nuggets. You know, you'd think that the gold would be up right coming out of this canyon up here. I'll show it here in a second. My daughter's breaking up a vlog for me. Now, if I did have a grizzly, I'd definitely not have the same amount of clogs. $10%, can you get a hold of scrap rail cheap up there? If so, you can make a great grizzly pretty easily. I would have to make a new hopper because it's aluminum. It wouldn't put up with that kind of weight on top. I have a small grizzly, but you know, when I have this trommel in line and everything, I need a bigger grizzly. I need at least a 2-inch grizzly. It's got to be maybe a 3-inch grizzly. I have a grizzly that was built for this, but it had like a chute on the other side. If I put a grizzly on top of here, the rocks would have to fall off, and I just wouldn't be able to load it the same way. I need a conveyor with the grizzly, you know. If I'm going to have a grizzly, it's going to have to stack the material that comes out of the grizzly, and I'm going to have to run it more at ground level with the equipment I have. So I've definitely looked at the prospect of having it, and right now, it just picking those rocks out makes the most sense, even though it's just the most efficient right now for running the material and getting those yards through. So, and also, you know, a lot of my gold sticks to the big rocks, and there's clay on those bigger cobbles. And so, if it doesn't run, if it backs out and falls out the back of the grizzly, I lose a lot of gold in that clay too. And you can spray the rocks down and then move it and clean up that material. But it's just another step you throw into the process. 10% old dumpsters make good good hoppers. Yeah, yeah, they do. I like the idea of a hopper. I like the idea of a hopper with a conveyor, and I don't know that I'm gonna have the time to build one until the winter. And even then, I'm still pretty busy. Last year, I was working through the winter too, so maybe this year I can just work on upgrading my equipment and stuff like that. But you know, I want to do other YouTube stuff in the winter as well. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff. Although that stuff is good YouTube material too, because people want to see it build stuff too. We'll see. We'll see. No promises. I was able to get this live feed scheduled today, so that was good. Little improvements every time, right? Every day, making a little improvement every day and getting better and better at it. So 10% says, yeah, it's the type of project to accumulate materials for as they come up and build in the off season. And I might be able to just buy one, but you know, I'm looking at spending 3 ounces of gold to get a hopper and stuff already built and ready. So it would definitely need to produce. It definitely have to build my efficiency over 3 ounces of gold, and I think it would pretty quickly, probably first season. Beautiful out there. Want to see that snow go away up in those mountains. But the creeks have definitely come up today. I'm going to call my wife on the radio here. Well, I'm waiting for my daughter to unclog me. Heather, copy. What's the temp you got for the thermometer there? Oh yeah. What was that? What's the temperature today? Oh, can you run and go check? My daughter has the radio, so, and give the radio to Mom. My daughter has the radio, so she's running that radio over. She's going to go check the temperature. If I can honk at her from here and she can hear me, just have to yell over the excavator and the trommel. It's pretty noisy right at the motor there and with the rock clanging. If I open my front switch, what was that for temperature? 52 degrees out today. It's sunny, but it's not really getting as warm as I was hoping it was going to. It was like 43 or whatever when I got up this morning and started working. So it's coming up, but there must be some cold air mass that's got to move out. Here she comes. I got clogged up again. So Michael Yurty, I think, or Yurty, Michael Yurty, he says, how many ounces would be a good cleanup for you? Well, generally a decent cleanup for me when we stop after 3 days. A good cleanup for 3 days of running is 1.5 ounces. So, and today we're going to have almost 4 days of running, so a good cleanup would be just about 2 ounces. So those are some of my best cleanouts. My box is real short, so I don't like going more than like 15 or 16 hours on the box. That Bronco. Although when I looked at the box, there was not much gold in the end of it. So it's definitely staying up top real good. I don't have the boys out with me this trip. They are working at summer camp as counselors this year and getting their social lives in order before they come out here. They get a little bit I guess they get a little cabin fever out here from being out away from their friends with just what's going on. And at their age, that makes sense. They got to make their tribe. I have my tribe. Although I'm missing 2 of them. So this one, I think if we have over 2 ounces in here, and I think we do, I would consider that an exceptional success. If I have much more than 2 ounces, I'm running some higher grade material, and I'm moving in the right direction with my cut. I'd be running higher grade material than I've run with the direction you're looking at. 10% has a good suggestion here. It says your trommel would be reasonably easy to add a second cut screen to the drum. You might be able to significantly improve your recovery going into a split box when you rework the plant. Yes, I agree. I think just extending that trommel and with a larger size hole would be phenomenal. And then I wouldn't, or if I put a screen over that, and I do have a piece that I could extend on the end that came with the trommel, and then split box that into a smaller at the beginning, and just put that screen around these screens. Like if I put like 3/4 up top there and then put the large at the end, that would be a much more efficient box, and I could put some fine gold recovery on the smaller stuff. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I really like that suggestion. Whether I get to it or not, that's a lot of work for me in the off season, but I'm pretty set up to do it and change my flow a little bit. And building a new box would be a little bit of work to get that split box in there. But then I'd have a nice nugget catch on the back side of that box. Your crazy uncle says it looks beautiful up there. It is definitely beautiful, still really cool out though. Only 52 degrees. And, that's great working weather. Like sunny and 52 degrees is like ideal working weather. But when you're dealing with frost ground, and having a little bit warmer weather helps you get to the pay streak a little bit faster. So that's why we want a little bit warmer weather. 60s would be ideal. So Malice Beyond says fingers crossed for more than 2. Yes, for sure. It looks good, and I'm not going to end up knowing for sure exactly the weight of what we get, but I'll have a good idea. I'll get really, really, really close. Alan Pure Scala says, will you give us a cleanup total on the next live stream? I will give you a cleanup total on the next live stream that I have that cleanup, right? So I got 1 3/4 on the last live stream I did, but I might do a live stream before we're fully cleaned up. So I won't know my total immediately. But it would be fun to start the live stream weighing my cleanup total from this one. That might be a fun way to start the live stream. I don't know if I left my scale out here. If I left my scale out here, we'll do that. I'll get that. My wife is going to build a little clean out sluice. Like I have a little gutter sluice. And so we can do clean up away from the trommel, so I can be running and she can be doing the clean up while I'm running and saving us that many hours of work, so we can really, spend our time doing the most efficiently payable things out here. That was a good question. That gave me a great idea. Thank you. %? Yes. I like the coaxial drum setup, larger inside, smaller. Yeah. I saw that on, I think it's a mining channel. He hasn't posted for a long time, but he's in DC and he's got a crazy cool trommel build. And he built a trommel that's a little bit bigger than my trommel for his exploratory trommel. And he's got that on his. He's got like 2 different size screens on his drum. And it really, he gets some gold in that bigger screen. I think some of your play balls will fall in there and then break apart as they hit the box and drop some fine gold into that box and, just some other things. You don't see too many nuggets in those because, big nuggets like that are rare. RD-Land says, great weather for just living, though. Yeah, absolutely. It is. That and those 60-degree days are pretty dang glorious, though. And even up here, when it is hotter, it's not too humid usually, so it's pretty bearable. The sun can get a little hot in midday. It's nice to have a hot day and then have your midnight sun be about 60 degrees. And it's just in the evening it's 60 degrees. It's pretty crazy, pretty awesome for living. It's some of the best weather. I do not want to leave Alaska in the summer. It's like my big no-no. It'll probably happen sometime, especially with my son Luke joining the Air Guard. You know, if he graduates or has something in the summer, we'll end up having to go out for a couple of days. But it's hard to leave Alaska in the summer. The weather up here in the summer is absolutely amazing. So, not a lot of heat. On a wet summer, it can get a little dreary, but if it's a sunny summer, sunny days up here are just the absolute best. 10% says on that split screen barrel, I mean, you get really good scrubbing of mid-sized particles before they hit the box, letting them stratify out quickly. Yeah, you do. And they grind up your small material too, really well before and then your small material goes, and then all that small material falls out, and then it just grinds up any clay that's left. So, you know, that small stuff will keep the clay together as it's rolling around, but as soon as that small stuff drops out, then it'll really work your clay, which is really good. So, yeah, that would really bring my percentage up, I think, of what I'm getting for getting my scrubbing done. You're right, 10%. Mohammed Juidi says, "Hi Jake, I'm a subscriber for 3 years now. I want to thank you for the content you're making. Can you tell us your last name, by the way?" My wife is really likes to keep our privacy, so we really like to keep our last name kind of out of the public. So. But you know, if I met you personally, you'd probably learn my last name pretty fast. But anybody who knows my last name, please, you know, I appreciate you guys keeping that and not putting it out there. But it just helps us keep our identity better and keep our channel safer. You know, I lost my channel for a couple days this year from a targeted phishing scam, and I don't like that. So, yeah. Paperclip says, "Howdy from Alabama," and your crazy uncle says, "Hello from Tulsa time. Living on Tulsa time." I always thought that song, when I first heard it when I was a kid, I thought it said "Living on Georgia time." But, yeah, living on Tulsa time. Haven't been through it yet, so I don't have to set my watch back to it. Although this spring, I guess it has. Oh, I lost my track the other day. Dropped the track yesterday. Well, I was cutting in my cut, and we dropped the grease out of it. And my daughter and my wife were my help for it, so I didn't have my boys for the muscle. We got that baby back on in like a half hour, so I was really proud of them. They were good help, excellent help. We have the tools out. I got the excavator lined up right. Got a strap on the bucket. Was able to pull it back on. I think last year I dropped my track off the excavator like 3 or 4 times. So I'd already had some experience putting it back on. But I'm actually surprised that it took that long before I dropped the track, as wore out as they are. Probably have to get new tracks next year, but I do have video of that. That'll definitely be in our series of the mine. The bluebell. Watching from Scotland, we don't get a summer. Yeah, you guys get a lot of rain, I guess, huh? And you know what's fun is I like your name. We'll have bluebells out here pretty soon. They're one of the first flowers to come up, and they're generally when we have the bluebells come up. That's when you can go out and pick morel mushrooms. So we definitely get a summer here. It's obvious that I'm not in southeast Alaska. They're in a rainforest there, and it's they don't get the same kind of summers we do in mainland Alaska. We get fairly nice summers with lots of sunshine. Hecto Megapad says, watching from the Philippines. Thanks. Thanks. Excited to have people from all over the world watching the live stream of gold mining in Alaska. You know, this one isn't probably the most exciting till the end here. I'm kind of being a little repetitive with this loading the trommel and stuff. I like to kind of transition between jobs when I do a live stream, but you know, in order to schedule a live stream, sometimes I get stuck doing the work a little bit longer. And you know, this is my office, and I like doing this live from work. So, you know, some of these live streams might be a little long and drawn out for people, but for people just tuning in to ask questions, it gives me a chance to connect with you guys and be able to answer some of your questions, and I love doing that. So. Mohammed Johnny says, got it, you brother. I would love to meet you one day. Yes, sir. I guess the lovely weather just started, so have fun. The Jake family. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for understanding. Help farming. Wish I was closer to Alaska. Love to volunteer and gain some experience from this. The Bluebell says, nice info, thanks. We had 30 degrees Celsius for 2 or 3 days. Then rain again. Hot. Well, you know, 30 degrees Celsius is hotter than we get here. I mean, we go by the Fahrenheit scale, and that I think that translates out to like high 90s. And we do get up in the 90s, but not every year. So, you guys, if you guys get up to 30 degrees Celsius, you definitely have a summer. So, you know, on a good summer, we hit into the 80s on a warm summer. I have had summers where we only had 2 days in the 70s. At my house, it snowed. It snowed 6 inches on June 2nd, and then it snowed. We had snow falling. It didn't stick, but every month of the year we had snow. That year we didn't have a summer. Trey Landing says, hey you, let's give the AU. Haha, I like it. It's a good slogan. Trevor171 says, have you ever tried a dream map for prospector's dream in your slough? You know, I don't think I'm going to spend money on them just because I have a pretty good setup with my miner's moth, and miners that are in my area tell me that the miner's moth produces better for them. And what I'm understanding is you can't run as long with them, but they're quick clean out, right? So you can run shorter time. They have good recovery then, I guess. But my distributor that I work with, they said that you got to have the right water flow for them, and if you can't get enough water flow, they gum up too quick. So they're not as forgiving as what I have in my box, right? So expanded metal over miner's moth is the miner's go-to in Alaska. There's a reason why miner's moth with expanded metal you see everybody using. Right? It's because that gold will catch, and then it like sinks down into the miner's moth, even through like the little bit of clay you develop in your box, and you can run longer. You can do a lot of stuff with them, you know, and they're forgiving. Like you can have your box at different angles. You can have bad water flow as long as you don't gum your box up to where the material's floating everything on top. You're really catching the absolute majority of your gold. But if Green Map sent me something, you know, if they wanted to do kind of collaboration, I'd be open to something like that. Brilliant says 1792 coinage access. Silver dollars are the only real dollars. Can you get some silver as well? Well, I run about 18% silver in my gold. If silver goes up too much more, I'll be asking my buyer if I get my silver weight too for at least some of that. Might have to negotiate that if we get too much over $100 an ounce. But I don't really have a lot of. I don't have a lot of extra cash flow to do that. I have to basically take my cash flow and put it into mining and living. So, and it's a good living, you know. So that's where we're at. I'm finding the gold for you guys. That's what it is. Malithium says the sluice cells on them fill fast. That's what I hear. And that's why if you can't keep them open, if you can't keep them cleared out and bubbling, basically, I don't know, not bubbling, but like dancing, then you're losing gold. It's going out over the top. Percent says you can do something similar to Dream Mat with a properly designed hydraulic ripple for continuous production. Yes, you can. That's probably another thing that would be a good investment for me to figure out. It's just figuring out engineering something like a hydraulic ripple in a box that's already working for me. That would be the challenge. That hydraulic ripple is almost like putting what are they called? Why can't I think of them? A jig in your sluice box. Malithium says for cleanup they are great. Yeah, they are. You just turn them around and dump them, and that's easy. So you know, if I was cleaning up every 30 minutes with the amount of material I run through, it's probably make a lot of sense, or maybe even an hour a week. But, you know, I'm going about 16 hours on this cleanup, and I tell you right now, that box, the black sand and the heavies I have to contend with are no joke. Trevor 171 says, I saw Emily on Barron Sea Gold Pride, one of those at the very end of, I don't know what that is. But I did see that episode of Emily's channel, and I think it picked up a nugget that went over there expanded. So, you know, that does make me a little concerned, but they're running a big dredge, right? So they're running a lot of big rocks over everything, and so that can knock out a thing. I have a 3/4 inch mesh that everything goes through, so I shouldn't lose any of those with my water flow. It's certainly a lot less, and I get a lot better recovery than my dredge. So, and I would imagine better than their dredge. A dredge is a pretty inefficient way to get your gold. Tree Landing says, how big a pile of tailings do you pile before you move them? When I run out of room, I got to move them. I would say 20 yards of tailings, and I got to get to the other side and pull them back. And instead of moving these tailings, what we're going to do is we're going to move the trommel. And then later in the summer, and I actually have skid steer on my mine plan, so I can go get that skid steer and take, if I want to just take that time, go get a skid steer, and then, you know, if I get good gold here, I'll go get a skid steer, and I can reclaim this in like a day or two. So everything, you know, for months of working, I can reclaim in just a day with that. Like, I can push these piles down super fast. So right now I'm sitting on them. I can work up to 5 acres without bonding. It just depends on my mine. I work less than an acre a year, so like I'm gonna be taking piles down as I move and get out of these ponds. But right now, all my cuts and everything, they're basically all settling ponds for me right now that I'm using. So that's as big as I can about get my tailings piles before I have to move. Hey, Patriot Prospecting says, I switched my whole cane system out with a 4-inch dredge with green mat. You know, for a dredge, that probably works really good. It's a high flow, and it'll catch that gold. You can kind of see how you're doing when you shut the dredge off. You can clean up really fast. You know, I can see that being, you know, you could clean up with the dredge every time you fuel up. So, and you wouldn't waste hardly any time doing it. So that makes a lot of sense. You know, with this, my cleanup, even if I just pull this in the bucket, it still would take me 15 minutes to pull everything apart and get it all put together. And that's fast for a mechanical operation. Man, a lot of comments here. PA Patriot says, it works awesome, the green mat, he's saying, for for his dredge. Yeah, I can see in that it being very, very good. You know, but for my operation, I don't think it's ideal. If Dream Mat wants to come show me otherwise, I'm game. But I don't think I'm going to put, you know, $500 or $600 into updating my box for that to test it. Roman says, hello, Roman from Boston, Massachusetts, wishing you and your family a very successful year. Thank you, Roman. We are wishing for that, too. This hitch is beginning to, starting out very successfully. The only real problem I've had is I dropped my excavator trap, and it wasn't too much of a bad for fix, so. 10% says consider adding some other types of recovery surface back to help catch the gold of size and shape. Dream Mat is less favorable. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know, if I did do Dream Mat, I'd probably just put it up front, to be honest, because then you keep the back and you just have an easy switch out for that, and then you can run a heck of a lot. You know, you have a little section of Dream Mat in the front, and you pop that out for all your cleanup, and then, you know, then you basically can go probably for a lot longer, because a lot of your gold gets caught in the Dream Mat, and you just don't have as much pushing down your box. Dude Wilson says, do you use back miner's moss, or are you using AstroTurf for your miner's moss backing? I have a piece of carpet backing on the bottom, so nothing's making it past that. It's like a rubber back piece of carpet. My gold is not migrating through my box. So, yep, I got that taken care of. And that blue miner's moss, it definitely moves through that blue miner's moss a lot better. And that blue miner's moss, it's like a looser weave than the green miner's moss that I have. And it's really designed for gold capture. It's really, really, I'm really impressed with it. It really strips the black sand off and catches that gold. And that gold just drops down in it. Stuck in Trees says, I might be missing some comments, guys are coming in so fast. Stuck in Trees says, do you dredge the bottom of your cut before you fill it in? I haven't yet. I've been told that I'll produce, but I do dig into the bedrock quite a ways, and I don't think I don't think the juice will be worth the squeeze, but once we get a little bit warmer weather, and my boys are out here, I will try it and do a video on it this summer, because I know you guys want to know that what the gold is on that. I get this is one of my most popular comments. So you guys will make the juice worth the squeeze just to make a good video on it. So I can say that much, and once I feel comfortable with running that in there, you just have to figure out a thing or two with setting it up in there, because you got to put your tailings basically back in the same hole you dredged. So you're going to muck everything up pretty good. You won't be able to see. There's a bunch of contingencies I'm going to have doing it, but I just want to show people that it can be done, but it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. So it might just be it's most likely going to be a diminishing return. Ruin says you can melt gold back down and recover. Yeah, you guys invest in gold. That's it helps the gold price go up for me. 10%. Sure would be nice to have pivoting stackers for those tailings, but I'm guessing those aren't cheap, available, or easy to transfer this time of year. No, they're not. And I'm out of gas. Out of gas. They are not, and they're nice, but a pivoting stacker would have its issue with all the water I'm running through there too. But I can, with the way that I set up on this trommel, like I'm basically baling while my trommel and box are clearing out. So it keeps me from loading up my box too heavy. And it's generally quick enough that it doesn't make my box run too empty. So it's actually good that I'm doing it the way that it is. It's certainly not bad at all without it. Jason White says the soil under that tree has your best gold. LOL. Yeah, it was next to a pretty good pay streak. It might have some decent gold in it. I don't think it's better than what we're digging in right now. It could. It could. That's what they'll always say. If that tree dies, I'll go back and get it. But we wanted to keep one tree out there for fun. Nick No Fish says, don't forget to hit that like button, folks. Thank you, Nick. Hit that like. We are at 56 likes. Last time we had like 250 likes. Of course, I did find a pretty good nugget 30 minutes in. So. Your crazy uncle says, hit that like button hard. Duke Wilson says, good man. 10% says, put in a small temp dam and isolate the dredge intake from tails to keep it from mucking the working hole. The water can return slowly through the barrier. Yeah, that's what I do. Kind of block off half of the cut and go into that. That'll give me enough to show people how much gold's in there anyways, and if it's worth the squeeze. If I'm spending a day mucking out that and I find 1/4 of an ounce, right, it's not worth it. If I spend the day doing it and I find over 1/2 an ounce, I'd say it's probably worth it. Some kind of stooge says, would you be open to having some company sometime? I have a Gold Hog 2.0 with the Raptor expansion. That depends. I'm open to doing collaborations with people on YouTube. I like to have people YouTube's really good because you can look at people's channels and you can vet them before they come out. You can see if you're gonna have good chemistry together and do stuff. I'm a pretty extroverted person. My wife is more protective, understandably, and so she's a little bit less open to that kind of stuff. So there is a process that I get together with people through YouTube, but it's not just everybody, and it's not just, and you guys are great as fans, and I love having you guys as fans. I can't bet everybody, so like I'd rather fans don't show up even if they know where my claim is. It's don't be a stalker. You know what I mean? But as for somebody like that wants to come out here and do a collaboration, we've got a little bit of equipment that they want to come in, and we're doing a YouTube collaboration. I might be able to arrange something. So, but you'd have to have an established channel, and I'd have to look over your content, kind of vet you first. Dude Wilson says, if you want cleaner, you can use a flocculant to make the silt settle. Yes, I could. If I want cleaner water, I also can. This is actually running pretty clean. It ain't bad. If I want cleaner water, I can actually just pull some makeup water from the creek or use water from another cut. Right now, I have a real nice setup. My setup when I moved and go from different places. It's a little dirty. The creek's about that dirty. You can see a little bit of recycled water flowing. See the mud from that. I really would just have to move my pump a little bit, and I don't want to put that on my daughter to have to move that pump. So it's as you can see, the water is still clear. It's not real silty coming through there. It's a little silty, but it's not gonna hurt the wash at all with what it's at. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. I've had it where it's recirculated, but I don't think I could get. I have plenty of water, so for my intake, and I have water rights to pull it from the creek, so I could make up some water from the creek if I need to. So I don't want to spend money on flocculants, and then I don't know how great they are for the environment. Rather be more natural. Working Dad says, hey, I got a live here in Ukraine. Starlink is awesome, man. 10% says it's worth sampling to get an idea what values you look like depth cut into bedrock. It is. My bedrock is really consistent here. It's really just flat shale. It's between 5 and 8 feet. I haven't found a difference. Right now, I'm just seeing how many yards of bedrock I can run. Or not yards, feet of bedrock. Trevor says, I asked about a nugget trap, then you found that one. LOL, maybe try a trap? Judging by what goes through my box and what sticks, so I have these, we basically catch every iron piece right at the top of the box. I am confident that I'm not blowing nuggets through the box. I'm very, very confident with my setup that I'm not blowing nuggets through the box. Every nugget I found has been right in the top of my box. It's just, you watch some of these guys that are finding all these nuggets, and they're running a whole lot more yardage than I am, and they're in higher nugget percentage ground with bigger nuggets and stuff. My stuff isn't necessarily big nugget area. It's coarse gold, but it's not super big gold. So. Some kind of stooge says, I heard that extroverted is, you know what? I'll never have a YouTube channel though. Or haha, God no. Well, extroversion does help for the YouTube channel. And when you're back here mining and you really got nobody, you don't have a big amount of people to hang out with, these live feeds are really nice. I really enjoy hanging out with you. In fact, I like doing these live feeds way better than I like editing video. I like shooting and putting together video, but I don't love editing video. And so, I feel much more qualified to do live feeds than I do editing my video. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to give up my videos because, I do like to produce good content too. Yeah, these can get a little long and drawn out. Romano says, what's your mailing address so I can send you some strong coffee, auto drip, or just whole bean, imported Italian Romano cheese, etc. Hey, Romano, I really appreciate the sentiment behind that, but like I said, I don't give out my last name. We don't, our address, we keep it private just so we don't, fan mail and stuff. Maybe someday I'll get a P.O. box or something for that, but, it's hard, and this day and age, you never know. The world's a strange place. People find out your politics, and they wanna get at you and stuff like that. Just it doesn't bode well for keeping your family super safe. So appreciate the sentiment, though. Definitely appreciate the sentiment, man. It means a lot to me. Trevor says, make them pay for a background check. Yeah, let me encourage you to get out there and live your hobby. And, if you come to Alaska or you're in Alaska, I can suggest some great places to go. Crow Creek Mine, you're going to find gold there. I found gold in the Hope area on the peninsula. There's some places where you can go and find gold for free or just small fees. I'm hard to get to, even if we were doing a collaboration. It's no laughing matter to get back to my claim. It's an adventure, and I've had an adventure doing it. Jason Wise says, living the dream. Good luck from Northern Ireland. Thank you, Jason. Hello from Newcastle. Nova Gold says, hello from Newcastle, Australia. Love the channel, bro. A bucket lister of mine is to visit Alaska. Alaska is awesome. %, man, you must be a gold miner because you know your stuff. If the water situation gets too mucky, a few layers of geotextile fabric and quartz rock will settling run goes a long way. Hydrocyclones can clean it up enough for a jig. I don't have a jig right now. I don't know that I need one yet, but they sure do get your black sand cleaned out pretty fast. Ooh, that's going to cause clog. Romano says, I understand why you get a P.O. box. Let me know. My intentions are only good, brother. Well, thank you, Romano. Appreciate it. Alan Pierre Shala says, I would rather watch a live stream than watching you work process, and you're thinking of why you're doing to capture gold money. Cool stuff. Thank you. I know a lot of you guys like watching this kind of work, and it's fun to watch actual work, see the production. It's kind of like I hate to make this comparison with y'all. It's not, right? Because not everybody can do it, right? But it's like there's that big draw for live stream video games, which I don't get. This is way better than that. But it's kind of like, yeah, you get to live vicariously through someone who gets to do something, or someone who's good at something. I wouldn't necessarily claim to be great at this or good at this, but at least I can answer questions. And I do know a lot about the Alaska and the country back here. So thank you for that comment. Really appreciate it. Trevor71 says, I want to go to Chicken after you mentioned it. Watch some videos. Chicken is a very good gold country area. There is yeah, there's a lot of gold up there. That's a big gold area. Finally caught up with the comments. So we've been running around 60 to 70 live stream people watching at a time. I know people are tuning in and tuning out. In a little while here, we've been going for almost an hour and a half. In a little bit, I've almost got this area cleaned up. Probably in 20 minutes or so, I want to take and clean up the box. So we're going to run for about 2 hours on this live stream, I think. And we are going to clean that box up and show you guys some yellow. Last night when I got done running that 4 hours, man, those ripples were getting a bunch of gold stacked up on top. So there's like a little layer of clay and black sand that holds, and I don't like to see the gold on top of that, but it was holding up high up in the box on top of it. And that stuff was looking cool. Like each of my ripples had like 100 colors in them. Like I'd take and kind of agitate them a little bit to get the gold to sink down, and they had a bunch of gold in them. I was taken back. So I think my ounce per grams per yard are going up. I got a question from Martin 1727. Are you in the Caribou Hills? I'll never tell. There's definitely gold area back up in there. %, says a jig setup would help with throughput once you have a conveyor feed, but they don't do well with intermittent. Okay, that makes sense. And you know, I don't have a ton of fines, but if I did have a jig, I'd definitely be getting more fines. So I know they agitate that black sand up enough to sink the gold down. Jason White says, best show on the go at the moment. Well, thank you, Jason White. I'm glad you think so. This is why I'm doing it. I know you guys are, I know I have a lot of people that enjoy seeing the live feed here. %, says, it sounds like much of your gold PSD is in the sweet spot for a duplex Pan Am or similar. Huh. I'm not sure what that is, but it's really flat. I got a lot of flat, like 20 mesh. And then some round nuggets like that mixed in, but they're pretty rare. And yeah, the rest of it's a few round nuggets, and then it's like all flat. Dude Wilson says, LOL, where's your fishing spot? My fishing spot, I like to fish on the Kena Peninsula, out of Seward and Homer, and, you know, I like beach fishing in Anoka. And then we like to go to Valdez, and we fish silvers there, so. And then, if you see up there, right where the canyon opens up, I did see grayling in there, and dollies. Grayling and Dolly Varden up in there, up in that creek. And haven't caught any yet, but we've come close to noodling them out of there. So when Dude Wilson says Valdez silvers are so chrome and tasty. Yeah, they are. I like them fresh. My wife doesn't really like to eat salmon, so we tend to go as a family, and I give them to, you know, my brother-in-law takes them home, or her brother, and his wife really like eating them, so they take them home, and we catch them for them and have fun doing it. Got a rock stuck in the trommel. Starting to get high on my tailing. I'm going to have to dump them here. So up at the top of the canyon, we started up there where that fire pit is, and we got our best grades up there, and then where the tree is, between there and the tree, it went down, and now it's started to come up again. So the grade was good right out of the canyon, and then kind of went down, and now is getting better and better. So my thought is some of that area must have been dredged before, and I'm thinking it must have been dredged up at that canyon. There's no way that I didn't get into better gold up at the canyon and have what I'm doing here, but maybe there is. You know, gold is where you find it. Alan Priscilla, have you caught a grayling yet? Do they taste good? If so, I've caught lots of grayling. Yeah, they're good fresh. I would never keep them to catch a best of them. Like if you're at a campfire and you cook them over the campfire, people say they kind of have like a thyme flavor to them. They definitely have their own flavor. It's a strong flavor, but it's pleasant. It's not bad. They don't freeze real good or anything like that, and their meat is pretty delicate. Dude Wilson says grayling are best cooked on the bank if you catch them, where you catch them at. And I would definitely agree with that statement. The one thing when you're cooking a grayling, you're probably pretty hungry, so it makes them taste better. And then they don't freeze good at all, and they just, you know, they're a small fish. They're really beautiful though. They're probably the prettiest freshwater fish we have here in Alaska, in my opinion. That Arctic char with their orange and green halos, and they could be really flame orange and green halos. But grayling are like purple with blue and all different color. So at Village of I can't pronounce your name, but how can you choose the best place for mining? Basically, I knew I had the grade for it, and I did a few test holes, and we've just been kind of chasing the pay down the bedrock, and it's basically where I'm at. My ground's really consistent. It's not too spotty, so I'm just running the old creek bed. Gravel bars of the creek bed, and it's a pretty good outwash plane, so it's consistent and it's paying. So that's how I know what to do here. Romano says you guys dredge the bedrock, etc., before you do reclamation. Probably a redundant question, but I have only seen a few videos. We haven't yet. We will, because it is a redundant question, and so we will, because we know you guys want to know the answer. So I don't think it's going to produce. I'd love to be proven wrong, and I'll go at it wholeheartedly and make a video on it here sometime this summer. I have a dredge for doing it, so I can do it. Dude Wilson says, don't ever try to take grayling home. They are very delicate fish. Yeah, you definitely want, grayling is definitely eaten best fresh, and they definitely can get mushy, and you definitely, if you take them home, you definitely want to clean them at the river. Is the yield good enough for paying charges, gas, food? Yeah, it's good enough for me to make a living on. I figure right now I'm getting about, with what we're doing right now, I'm getting about 4 grams an hour. But if there's as much gold as, I might be getting 5 grams an hour while we're running the trommel. And I've been able to run the trommel for the first 3 days we've been here for 4 hours a day. So, and probably 4, maybe 5. So it's definitely paying for a living. Not just for the expenses. It's paying for the living. So, and if I get to 50 ounces this summer, we will definitely be making enough to make it through the winter and pay off debt and stuff like that. It's a good living. So, and as gold increases in cost, last year we made a living at it last summer, but I had to go to work as soon as it was over. I found 25.5 ounces at 3,300 or 3,200 US, probably average is selling it. We're up to 4,500 US right now. So 4,500 is a big raise. So if we're making a living for the time we were doing it, now I think even if we only find 30 or 25 ounces, we'll make the living. It'd be nice to have, and our cost of living isn't that high, but it'd be nice to have the extra ounces in there to pay off bills and stuff. Kind of feel like we're getting ahead, you know. You put a lot in, and there's a lot of risk to come out here mining. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. Equipment can break down on you. You know, I showed that on these earlier live feeds. You know, I broke my arm on my stick on my excavator. So there is definitely a lot that can go wrong. There's a lot of contingencies. You're not always mining. You know, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, but when the gold is in the box, the sun is shining. And you kind of have to take into account. All right, I'm going to have to walk down off of this bench I have here. One 1985 Tris says, hello from Green Creek, Australia. No gold prospecting for me today with the rain, so better watching others. Thanks, Chris. Welcome, 1985. Yeah. Jason White says you have the easy job. You know, the mechanical mining is definitely easy in the sense of running and stuff. Well, not easy, but like it's not super physically taxing. Although my butt is getting sore after 3 days of sitting in the seat for 10 hours, 12 hours. Definitely getting sore there in the glutes. Sorry guys, sorry about that. I'm gonna pop off of this. Gonna do a little running down this here. Left myself a pretty big bank, so hopefully I don't have any trouble. No losing a track right now, right? That would be bad. There, we're starting to do a little bit of. I gotta turn myself around so I can get. Getting rid of this platform and gonna run it. Oh, lost that rock. These rocks that I'm picking up, not so great for the hopper, as you can imagine. Try to catch them all. Sometimes they don't. Get clogged when I don't. Get another scoop in there. I'll give it a second to clear out anyways. That clay will cause that gold to ride on it. Ooh, that's getting hard. Must be a little clay in there. That's pay dirt with some clay. Maybe some frost in that where I've been sitting. Nah, it's just clay. Alright, hopefully I'm not losing the live stream. My wife said it was lagging and cutting out. I'm going to come back up. Turn around. Alright. Woo! This is the fun part of the live stream. A lot of pressure. Okay, I do better under pressure anyways. Hopefully I don't get too many rocks in my track. Come on now. Woo! Hard to see with the way that I have it up, but I am not level right now. I'm pretty close to the box. I don't love it. Yeah, there we go. Woo! Fun. Oops, wrong way. Alright, let's switch it around and do a little bit more. Lotto says, very cool just seeing how gold gets caught down, especially after watching Risk Rewards, aka before Whitewater on Discovery Channel. Yeah, I like watching the Risky Rewards guys. They put a good series together. They definitely, I like their content better than the Discovery. They did a better job than the Discovery Channel did. I feel like they just overproduced the Discovery Channel too much, and it just loses the authenticity of what we're doing. You know, I'm underproduced. You know, unless my videos are a little bit better produced, but you know, people want to know what's really going on. So this is the real deal. Got Harris West, lots of extra stuff there fishing. How many years would you say you have left on the site mining? The rate I'm going, I probably have 5 or 6 years left, if not a few more. I might have 10 years. How are the pins on the excavator holding up so far? They're holding up good, and I got to replace a couple of them under warranty because of that arm break. So that was nice. So yeah, I'm greasing every fuel up. So I'm taking pretty good care of it. We grease every time we fuel up, so that's good on the pins. They seem to be doing well. Ask what's the temperature. We're in the mid-50s right now. So not super warm. What is the mid-50s in Celsius? Like 14, 15 degrees Celsius? Percent says enough crap happens in real life. No need for them to add the stupid artificial drama on top of it. Yeah, that's true. It gets pretty cheesy when they start adding the thing. Oh, their season's going to end. You know, I broke that arm on this excavator, and I felt like my season was going to be like crippled for the first month. I was up and going in 4 days. It's gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta make do. You gotta make this stuff happen. And your season's not gonna be over. You're just gonna figure out a way. You got a lot of days in your season. You don't want to be spending it working on stuff, but if you break down, you go work on stuff. The trommel's got to run to make money. Good Wilson says at 60 degrees here in Butte, Palmer. That sounds good, man. Let's hit that 70. Probably the warmest day. You guys are probably getting some of the warmer weather you've had all year. You guys didn't see that, but I bumped my barrel grabbing those daily. Oops. I have those wheels pretty overbuilt. Although the one bearing on the one pulling side of the chain did go out on me this spring and shut me down, which was probably better for the excavator than because I was doing some digging in the frost. just hard on the machine. Dude Wilson says that 60-degree day is the warmest day he's seen at the Butte so far. Yeah, it'd be nice. You know, was today June 1st? It's like we should have had a 70-degree in Palmer Wasilla area. You know, and it's just been a fairly mild. I hate to say mild, because for us it feels cold because we're like it's time for summer already. We're ready for 70-degree days, and you know, a lot of times in May you'll have multiple 70-degree days. Alan Pirshella says, are they mining in the Yukon area yet? You know, I don't know if, you know, people have different stuff for their seasons. I'm sure there's areas that still have a lot of ice. Like I said, that La Nina really put a lot of ice and bad frost. And so I imagine a lot of people are getting out to their roads, right? It's the road. So if somebody's got a good road out there, then they'll be mining, and if they don't, then they're not. It's probably variable. So, getting too warm for comfort range real quick here in the Sierra Nevada foothills. Yeah, you guys get that 90 to 100 degree weather with that sun beating down on you. Not us here. We get the sun beating down, but it's like on the too warm for comfort days, they're like 80. Dude Wilson says, yeah, Yukon is mining right now. Rich and Kenville says, glad to see you back loose box. Hope the boys' graduation went well. Looks like the snow line is slowly moving up the mountain. Yeah, slowly moving up the mountain. Yeah, graduation went really well. We homeschooled our kids, so we had like a homeschool graduation. I was impressed with how Cody looked up there with the other kids. He really put in the work, and they gave them all an opportunity to speak for the class, and he was the only one out of 20 kids who went up and gave like a commencement thing for that. I was impressed with my son on that. He's a good kid. Jason White says, is the road still open yet, or are you still paying for a helicopter? Still going on a helicopter. Definitely with the road not in, it is, even with the road in, like, it's almost worth it. It's incredible. You get a fun, scenic flight, and, like, you get to see everything, you get a bird's eye view of everything. It's incredible. It's so fun. But should be able to get in here pretty soon with that. There might be a bad spot on our trail for ice that I'm not sure about. Maybe I'll hike to it before we head out. But I might come in with a bunch of guys, so we might just cut that ice up with the chainsaw and burn the ridges per se coming in. The spot where the ice is going to be bad is close enough to the cabin where I could probably just hike. It's probably only a mile from the cabin. You know what, guys? I am going to, this is going to be the last one, and then we're going to clean out. So, this is the last bucket. So, let's see, everything looks copacetic on the old mine. John Walker. Dirt moving, spinning the spinning, good water flow. We're going to be rich. Yeah, I like that. Right at about 4 or 5 grams an hour on the trommel, I think. 4:46 in Biloxi, Mississippi. What time is it there? We are at 1:52 as I'm reading your comments, so just a little bit off on that. Let's see. What's up, Alaska fam? Deep North Adventure. Just out mining on a beautiful day in Alaska. Sid Nunkin says, what is your son doing in the background? Uh-oh. Can't see because she's got... I'll let you take another look there. That's definitely not my son. She's kind of obscured. That's my beautiful daughter. She's just waiting for me to honk the horn and come and unclog me. But I think we're doing good on the clogging situation right now. Gonna let this kind of run out for a little bit, and I've got a little bit of issue with my hopper right now. It's not feeding how I'd like it to, but we'll fix that here and take this out of the. I'm going to take my gimbal out of the holder that I have for it, and we're going to film some box here. I've got to clear some tailings here really quick, and then we're going to do that. Then we're going to go look at the box and pull all the material out of it. Take a look at the gold. Yeah, as for my sons, they are at camp now, having a good time with making their pride and helping out at a Christian camp. They're doing a good thing. What was your final weight on your last cleanup before your son's graduation? Ounce and 3/4. I'm gonna pull this here. You gotta unscrew it out of the mount. Whoop, there we go. And we're gonna power down. I love how I have my trommel. Power down. Turn off the. We're gonna go take a look. Let's go look at that box. Oh, I need to fix this. I need to hold it in. I like it up like this. There we go. That's how it's supposed to be. All right. Those of you tuning back in, we're going to look at some gold here. Go ahead and let's go ahead. Just wait. Don't turn it off yet. There's my daughter. Somebody said, "What's your son doing out there?" All right. Let's see. Grab me the radio. Let's call Mom. Actually, you go ahead and go turn the pump off. She's going to turn the pump off, and we're going to take a look at the box. Oh. And I'm going to have Heather take and film. So we'll probably miss some comments here. Lots of cool comments. You might. There we go. All right, now we can hear. So I don't know. I have a mic in. Beth, can you run up and grab that little box with my mic? I'm going to mic Mom up.
We're still upside down. I guess that's how it goes with the excavate.
We're upside down on that. So just hold it down lower and point it up.
This is going to be tricky. I have my sunglasses on, but I can't see the
So I don't know if this mic is making a difference.
screen. Oh, hang on.
Have you guys noticed if the sound is better?
Whew, the sun's going to make it tricky to see. There's comments, but I can't see. Okay.
I'm going to mic her up just in case.
Well, hang on, let me move the radio. That might cause a squawk.
All right. So we should both be mic'd now. So.
Oops. Oh, goodness gracious. No, go away.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. Let me catch up on the comments. Robert says, is there any chance some of the gold is locked up in the minerals in the rocks, or is lode gold all free gold?
I think that got answered in the chat.
Free gold different. Okay, maybe it did. Okay, there's Beth. She works hard around there too. Wheezing Geezer TV says, yes, she does. She's been staying home more, helping her Nana and Grandpa, and then she takes care of the house and the dog and everything at home. But we have her now that the boys are at camp. Nick No Fish says, hi, Heather. Hi. I was in the cabin taking care of stuff and trying to make sure the live stream kept working from in there. Alan Pershella says, I also did the counselor deal. Oh, don't go away.
Bethany Hammer.
The comments go away really fast. Did the counselor deal when in college at a Jewish boys camp while in college in the 80s for 3 years. Best of times and memories. Yeah. It's really special for the boys. They grew up going to camp, and so now it's turned around and come full circle that they can go be a counselor, which is really special. Luke was a counselor last summer, and he absolutely loved it, and Cody's going to be a counselor this summer. We could tell her to get the bug spray, too, because they're yeah, it did kind of catch up there. Okay. Oh, hang on. The comments go, I'm fighting two things. The comments go away.
And then the mosquitoes.
And then the mosquitoes get me, and the sun's on the screen, so I can't see it very good. 10% says, oh, he was answering the question. Oh, hang on. This is a plaster deposit, but it is possible for there to be crystal, locked gold, and or other mineral values making it through the tails.
Be so rare to find that, though. It's not.
Oh, hang on, wait, it's going away. Come back. Are you a neighbor of Parker Schnabel?
Maybe, maybe not.
Interesting, thanks. Grind everything up and smelt it.
Here, let me see the camera.
And then Louise Geezer says Parker's on the Yukon, which is in Canada. Jake and his family are in Alaska. Yep.
We're neighbors.
Okay, here we go.
We're neighbors. Neighbors in different countries. There you guys go. Look at that. There's some gold in that. Last night it looked better, but I only ran for 2 hours here. And then I agitated the riffles, so the gold sunk down into the moss. And then we got this added on top right here. Look at that. Yeah. That's what we want to see. Gold up in there. Let's see. When we pull this mat off and and get everything. We're looking at everything here. It's going to be, I think it's going to be impressive.
Okay.
All right, here she comes.
Do you test your, trying to see this in the sunlight, do you test your tailings?
I do test them from time to time. There's a little, oh, that's dangerous, honey. Yeah, go around the other way.
You might go swimming in the muddy water.
It's pretty muddy in there. I should have had her grab a hose ahead of time, too.
Well, she might have to make a couple trips.
She was sitting waiting for me, but she didn't know she needed a hose, and I didn't explain that.
That's okay. She needs to grab some bug spray.
You got a mosquito on your head.
Oh, I think I felt it. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, and we're going to need the hose, too.
And the bug spray.
Yep. See my tailings right here, guys? I get to leave them. Barely fit that in there. And now I get to leave them because we're going to move the trommel after this run. So I'll just pull all my material from here and we'll end up moving it over there. And I'll just have to bucket my material over there.
John Walker says, quite a cool mining outfit.
Well, thank you, John. This is our second year. And we really enjoy doing this. It's a lot of fun to be out here as a family. Well, I should say, me and Heather enjoy doing this. The kids don't always enjoy it. They enjoy it when their friends are here.
Yeah, if they can have friends, they enjoy it more. 10% says, how hard would it be to add 3 or 4 ripples right at the top of the expanded section? I think that might help knock the heavies down before it can start skipping down the expanded.
That's a good question. I feel like it does a pretty good job on that. I'd actually probably be more inclined to add riffles down here on the medium expanded. There's just these the riffles that the expanded makes are just so. This large expanded just makes a pretty good sized riffle. Like I think about my end-stream sluice box, and I might. No, I just don't think any nugget that goes through here will probably just hang up right on the top here.
John Walker clarified. He said, I meant his clothes. I'm so sorry, but the site does look wonderful. Oh, that's great. I love it. Oh, thank you. I need to spray the bugs are coming for us really bad.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
Hey, Beth, go over by the pump quick.
Now I just sprayed bug spray on my glasses, so I really won't be able to see. Okay, let's go back here. Oh, the bugs are on my hands. Is there microscopic gold particles in that mud on the 2x4?
Start. Probably not.
Whew.
There might be some. I'm gonna have to run and take that way down.
Oh yeah. Robert says, "Can
what?
What?
This hose is beautiful because it's been in the sun.
So it's nice and warm to move.
Nice and pliable.
Okay. Robert says, "Can I buy your leftover mud?" LOL.
I need to sell paint.
Oh, that's great.
What I should do is give catered away on the live feed.
Is that enough there? Do you want it up a little bit, Jake?
Huh?
Is that enough or do you want it up a little bit more? her water flow?
Down.
More?
Oh,
She turned it way down. Is that good?
that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. 10% says the riffles are less for nuggets and more to invert the bed load and improve stratification in the laminar flow downstream.
Oh, okay. Well, with what I have with that is I kind of got a little bit of a bow in my screen that picks up and kind of acts like I'll show you here.
Okay, and then Robert says, yeah, I'd buy some tailings for fun. Alan Purcell says, do you still have flashbacks of that drive down the slope on your excavator, balls of steel stuff?
I don't. If I have flashbacks of anything, it's putting the road in.
That was definitely stressful.
Once I got going down that hill, it was actually really fun. So what I'm seeing here, if you look at the mat, where my blue mat goes over here, there's kind of a drop, right? And it holds more material. And then at the end, as it totally gets to my carpet, it never tends to load up. And then I have a load up spot in the middle of my blue mat and 2 spots where it clears out. So my thought is, oh, and I put my...
Oh, you washed all that into your bucket?
No, I got my...
Upside down?
It's upside down. I can't believe I did that. Maybe I didn't do it. Should have been the boys.
I didn't put it together. I know that much.
I was in too much of a hurry. I think I put my grate in upside down.
Robert says, can I buy your muddy 2x4s? Oh, that's great.
As good as you think.
Oh, boy.
All right, Beth, go ahead and go up to those valves there.
Yeah.
And turn them on. Just all of them.
You entered one?
No, just the middle one.
Not all of them. Boy, the warm weather caused these bugs to come alive. They are out like crazy.
I didn't even notice that.
You've spent how many hours staring in that box and you just now noticed?
I didn't spend any hours.
I think there's a horsefly out too.
You stayed out for like 10 minutes after I went in.
That's 1 hour.
Come turn this one on, or I can turn it on just a second.
No, that's fine. It's enough.
The one's enough? Okay.
Yeah.
The bigger one's the biggest one.
I'm just doing this right here, guys, to give you a look and see what we got.
Man alive, these mosquitoes are, they are very, very hungry, I guess. Robert says, I want like a scoop of the mud underneath the ramp. I'll pay $50 for 2 scoops. Oh, that's great.
I feel bad because I'd have to put some gold in it for you. All right, go ahead. Shut that off.
Oh, those are hard.
Yeah, they are. The middle one especially is kind of hard to turn.
What I kind of want to sell is some of the heavies that come out of here because they're cool.
Feed the blood buzzards more garlic. For some reason, they definitely eat meat more than everybody else. I've heard O-type blood they like more. I don't know. A Flowtron 8000 mosquito zapper. Yeah, with the heavy. Be nice to get rid of a few.
Wow, he's really confused. Look at that, it's a piece right there, guys.
Look at this.
Okay, try to get in here, guys, and see. Oh, the thing likes to turn on its own here.
Right here, here. Give me a little bit of water up in here.
Hang on, I gotta get these boards out of the way.
Yep, go for it more. More?
You want it all?
Yeah, for a second. We're just gonna clear all this material off of here to show you guys the mat. It could,
Trying to.
hey, kill it.
Robert says, is that like 1 gram nuggets?
I wish it was 1 gram nuggets. It's all little, but it's like just here. Let me see this.
Says you're getting, Jason says you're getting better at this. Just don't hit the red button. Yeah, I'll try not to shut it off. Woo, look it. Oh my goodness. Wow.
For 3 days in a row, I'd say that's pretty good.
That's pretty exciting.
But they weren't even full
Oh,
days.
there it goes.
Yeah, it's kind of,
All right,
it's not wanting
you
to
go.
work very good, Jake.
all right. Let's try this.
Okay, hang on.
You guys have asked about.
Looks like a good bed of heavies. We're hoping so.
I'm just gonna pull this one right now.
Robert really wants this mud. Oh boy. All right, we got too many boards here.
Look at that gold. I thought that was gold. It's yellow rock.
We do have a few yellow rocks that try to trick us, that's for sure.
Okay, Beth, give me some water.
David Lynn says that looks like a good run. Oh, that was a nice piece there.
I think that was the yellow rock.
Oh, you think so?
Mhm.
Uh-oh, there went
Oh,
the
there
carpet.
goes our carpet.
Maybe shut the water off for a second, honey. I just turned it on. Yellow rocks could be sulfides with gold.
No, they're like just like a
oxide.
sandstone silica or something. They're not sulfide.
Trying to help you hold things, but I'm not doing a good job with the camera.
Hard is not an extra guy. One more.
Oh boy, those mosquitoes, they ate my whole forehead.
Try to eat me.
Are there any, Robert asks if there's any sulfides in the heavies.
Yes. Lots of sulfides in the heavies. I'll show you. So there's my backing, right? It's a rubber carpet, rubber back carpet.
10% says the rusty nodules are usually the interesting bits.
Go ahead, Beth. Sometimes we get rust on the gold.
And Robert says he wants to buy the heavy. Trying to back up here so you can see better.
Hey, turn it off, Beth.
Whoa.
Not sure where to film, on the top side or the bottom side. What do you think?
Well, I want to put it on the.
So we can see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the.
Oh, on the black mat.
Yep.
Okay, okay.
Oh,
But then we can see it better.
Material. Just and we can just see the gold in it. Okay, Beth, give me some water.
How much?
Some.
Okay.
4.
You see it's all just running down into our box down here. And then he's going to try to catch a little bit up top.
Left.
Left. Like a blended chickpea curry. No sprayer on a hose for clean out. We do have the hose. He's just not using it yet.
Wow, you can see the gold just washing down
Yeah.
in the black sand because it's like the
I
heavy
think
stuff
try to
goes
get in here.
washed down.
Mm-hmm. Now there's more up in the black mat, although with the water, I don't quite know that you can see it all. When the water goes off, we'll be able to see it really good. But yeah, it's definitely watching down here.
The camera does not do the gold justice.
No, the camera doesn't do it justice at all.
I would love to get it up on this mat up here, but I can't quite. Can't quite get a hold of it, right?
Yeah.
Look at that little pile of gold right there.
Oh, sorry. Can't have both of our heads in there looking at it. Not enough room. Do you want her to shut the water off up top now since
Not
you
yet.
have the hose? No, not yet. Okay. Because then we'll be able to see the black mat. Whoa! Wow, that is pretty yellow. I'm having a hard time holding the camera. It's wanting to go at all kinds of weird angles here.
Is the movie
It's
dying?
it's supposed to compensate so it makes the camera like smoother or whatever.
Well, I knew
But
that.
it's not working very well with me. It's partly because it's upside down.
Okay, I need. Beth, can you go grab a gold pan?
You want this on or off?
Just leave that how it is.
David Lynn says, what are you hoping to see for this run?
We're hoping 2 ounces. At least 1.5 ounces. Didn't see any nuggets in here this time.
Love watching it peel back. Yeah, it's exciting. Boy, there's definitely some clay.
Yeah. Way up there.
Jason White says 2.7.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I could have missed a bunch at the beginning that just washed down off the thing. Scrub that. I don't want any balls of clay. No. Let's see. It's hard to tell what's there.
It's kind of going all. No, the battery's not dead. It just moves on its own mind, I guess. So that's grabbing a gold pan, and then we can put this.
We'll show you this
in the
top
pan.
side. Of course, this isn't going to be nearly all of it.
Oh wow, this thing's going. Oh
Haywire?
yeah, I might need to just take it out of there. Can you help me, Beth? If I can just take the phone out of this thing. Okay, there we go. I think that's actually going to be way easier.
I got them all. White. Hey, Beth, I have a job for you. Can you take that hose up to the top? Pull the hopper out and spray all that down.
You have extra buttons on your iPhone, and I don't know what I did. Okay, so Bethany's gonna wash out that top part up there. Oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff there. Beth, try to break that up a little bit if you have a glove on.
Yeah, I do. I want my water gloves, but
Yeah, try to break that all up really good so it doesn't come down in chunks.
Don't let a big chunk down. Catch them as they come down.
Are you
got it.
trying to catch them? Okay, I can't quite catch them with, I don't have enough hands. Oh, that's a lot of clay.
All right.
Okay, he's gonna start fanning this here.
Just clear out.
Robert says, "Can I buy your heavies for real?" We've we've talked about trying to get set up to do it. We looked at it this winter and we just never got it together. If we get it together, you'll know on this channel. We'll let everybody know if we can get stuff. Maybe this winter we'll get stuff on there for sale.
Oh, perfect, honey.
Is it all rinsed out now? Awesome. Okay, you gotta hold it down a little lower, honey.
Look at all that lead I got in there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Where did that come from? Somebody's like shot or
Yeah.
shoot birds or something? Yeah.
you still want that water on?
For a little bit till it cleans that out.
I'm not doing a good job with this here. You can't see it. Very good.
Looks like there's at least a half ounce in there.
It's pretty good for what?
But really, where it matters is, no, it's 14 hours. 14 hours of run time. Try to get that black sand out of there for you guys so you can see. I don't know if we got
Keep
2
the
ounces.
bugs off me. Get my legs.
There you go. Nothing real big or anything like that. At least not in the. I didn't see anything big flushing down. These are kind of piles of gold, though. Hard to get that black sand out right now without my magnet out here. Well, there's some yellow, guys. There's some yellow from Alaska. 3 days of running, and this was just what we could get in our, like, the front mat, right? The easy to clean mat. So that's at least a half an ounce right there. So looking at it, maybe is 18 grams of gold in that. And I think we'll have probably over an ounce back in here. So, but I'll let
So
you
have
know
to
on the next
Go
live
through
feed.
that whole container.
The goal, my goal for good running is 15. I mean, not yeah, it's about 15 grams a day. So about a half an ounce a day. So and if we're doing that, we're making good money.
You can get that mosquito on my arm.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in with us. And I at least wanted to show you some gold, and thanks for hanging out. And we'll catch you on the next one. I'll try to schedule it, but I can't always get them scheduled. Sometimes it's too much of an opportunity to start it just with what's going on. So, and we'll catch you on the next one. So, see you next time.